Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnu Pad Paramamsa Parivrajacharya Masato Tatsara His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Seko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopu Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I'm Lalita Sakhi, living near the Manor, London. So it's lovely to be here and share the experiences of Janmashtami, Vyasa Puja, in a nice little small temple. We had, I think, 40,000 over that weekend, 45, 50,000 over the weekend in London. So we try to run away a little bit to small temples where it's a little more intimate and friendly. Okay, this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatam Vyasam Tojayam Mudirayat Nastaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistake. This meter is a thing, Brahma meter, we'll try it. Here we go. Sarve yami vidikarastava satpadamno. Brahmadayo vayami veshana chodvijanta. Shema bhutaya utatma zakaya chasya. Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravataya. Sarve ami vidikarastava satpadamno. Brahmadayo vayamiveshana chodvijanta. Shema bhutaya tatma sukaya chasya. Vritriditam bhagavato ruchiravataraya. Sarveyami Vidikarastav Satpatam no Brahmadayo Vai Vishena Chutopijanta Shema Bhutaya Utatmasukaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatarai. Pamadayo Vayamiveshana Chodvijanta Shema Punyabhutaya Tatmasukaya Tasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatarai. Sarve Yami Vidikarastava Satvatam no Brahmadayo Vayamiveshana Chodvijanta Shema Bhutaya Tatmasukaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatara. Sarve Vyami Vidikarastava Sat Brahmadayo Vayamiveshana Chodvijanta Shema Bhutaya Utatma Puskaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatarai. Sarve Yami Vidikarastava Shema Bhutaya Utatmasukaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatara. You don't want to try? Okay. Sarve, all, he, certainly, Ami, these, Vidhi Karaha, executors of orders, Tava, your, Satpadamna, being always situated in transcendental world. Brahma Adaya, the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma. Vayam, we, Eva, like, Isha, O my Lord, no, not, Cha, and which Vijanta, who are afraid of the future. For the protection, Utaye, for the increase, Utam, it is said, Atmasukaya, for personal satisfaction by such pastimes. Cha, also, Asya of this world, Vikriditam manifested, Bhagavatam of your Lordship, Ruchira, very pleasing, Avatarai, by your incarnations. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Please repeat, O my Lord, all the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to assert that his father and the other members of his family were all unfortunate because they were demoniac, whereas the devotees of the Lord are always fortunate because they are always ready to follow the orders of the Lord. When the Supreme Lord appears in this world, material world, in his various incarnations, he performs two functions, saving the devotee and vanquishing the demon. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskritam. Lord Nrsimhadev, for example, appeared for the protection of his devotee. Such pastimes of those of Nrsimhadev are certainly not meant to create a fearful situation for the devotees, but nonetheless the devotees, being very simple and faithful, were afraid of the fierce incarnation of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, in the following prayer, requests the Lord to give up his anger. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutle Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Svapatikam Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutle Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prastitya Dasatari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasanurvyacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah. Seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, exalted personalities present here, to shower your mercy upon me to say some words that will be beneficial for us all. So the word vidikara is mentioned in this verse, yeah, 6:13, which means the executors, Prabhupada translated as the executors of the orders, which is talking actually about the demigods. The demigods are actually following the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like in this material world, you have the Prime Minister or any top level hierarchy. The Prime Minister, he's got ministers who are carrying out orders as well. So they may be in charge of education, health, transport, um, so many different things. And the Prime Minister, the President would delegate these tasks to the ministers, just like that in the Supreme, in the spiritual world, the Supreme Lord also delegates these tasks to his subordinates, who are called demigods. The Lord doesn't have to do anything. He always delegates the services to the demigods. So number two is the Sattva Dhamma. The Lord is in a transcendental position. He's above three modes of material nature that we experience in this material world. So his position is much higher than the demigods. The demigods are also transcendental. We see the demigods as transcendental, and the demigods in turn see the Lord as transcendental. The demigods are actually in pure mode of goodness, whereas we are in the mode of goodness, aspiring to come to the pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. So Srila Prabhupada says, unless we come to the mode of goodness, it's very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness. So gradually, as we are practicing our Krishna consciousness and following the orders of the spiritual master, and also abiding by the rules and regulation as set down in the Shastras, then gradually we make advancement, we make improvement, and we can come to the platform of Shuddha Bhakta platform. And Prabhupada sometimes says that in due course of time we become so advanced, it's a long process. Who knows? We may not achieve that in this lifetime, but the idea is to persevere with determination, conviction, and faith. Faith is very, very important in the process. Without faith, it's practically impossible to do anything. Because when you read Shastra, you read Srimad Bhavatam, you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, sometimes the verses are so esoteric, you cannot grasp it. It's very difficult. And in these texts, or in these verses, you need to have faith to believe. If you don't have that faith to believe what's in the books, then it's very difficult to make spiritual advancement. Because God, we always say the common saying is God is great, or the Almighty. But we don't really, especially the materialists, they don't understand the greatness of God unless they explore and make researches or get in touch with devotees. Then they understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So the demigods are situated in pure mode of goodness, and the word transcendental means something that's beyond the reigns of normal or physical experiences. So from our perspective, we see the demigods as transcendental. So is the Supreme Personality Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead's transcendence is on another level of the demigods. He is completely in control of everything. He controls his senses. He's not like, he doesn't have to undergo the three modes of material nature that we have to undergo. So, among the demigods also there is a hierarchy. Devaki talked about hierarchy. Why is there high devotees and low devotees, mediocre devotees? But we have the Varnashram system is, you have 4 orders, 4 divisions, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Because the Shudra are considered the limbs, the legs of the, laboring class, we don't see them as, lowly born. We don't see them as icons. The positions are there just to make gradual process in our devotional, service. So the Shudra might be working in the garden, plowing the lands, working hard to satisfy the other three orders, but he's still practicing devotional service. In due course of time, he will achieve the same results. And it's explained that any service you do in Krishna consciousness, whether it's washing the pots, sweeping the floor, serving the deities, distributing books, all these services are on the absolute platform. We cannot differentiate, oh, I'm a pujari. One time, I can't remember the exact thing, the pujari was offering arti, and Prabhupada was giving a class, and he said something negative, not negative, but to humble the pujari that was doing the service. That he was talking about, the four orders. So wherever we are, we cannot, understand or think we on a higher level. The four orders are there, especially to make advancement on the path of devotional service. So, among the demigods, there is also hierarchy, as I was saying. So Lord Brahma is the chief, the head of all the demigods. He's the leader. So all the other demigods take instructions from him, because Lord Brahma gets direct instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because when he was first born on the lotus stem, he was getting direct instructions from the Supreme Lord. And hence he also gives these instructions to the demigods on how to rule. So, and as the demigods are on the pure Shuddha platform, so our place in the material world is also based on the mode of goodness. And there's different categories of goodness. So if we're living in the temple atmosphere, we're following the rules and regulation, we're doing services, then this behavior of ours is purified. It's a purified mode of goodness. And gradually, this is how we make advancement in our Krishna consciousness. So the word Brahma Adaya is used here. Brahma Adaya, Prahlad Maharaj, is actually speaking on the terms of we. He's including all the demigods as part of him, because they all are there looking at Lord Nrsingadev's his very, very fierce presentation coming out of this pillar. He was so angry because his dear devotee was being harassed by his own father, and no one could pacify him. All the demigods were there. Lakshmi Devi, the Supreme Lord's wife, the closest person that could be, pacify the Supreme Lord, she couldn't do that, and she was present there as well. So Prahlad Maharaj was there. And that verse in the Bhavatam, the story about Prahlad, it explains how the demigods, even Lakshmi, was encouraging Prahlad Maharaj, and they were nudging him towards Nrsingadev. So Nrsingadev was this one deity of Nrsingadev is called Ugra Nrsingadev. And Ugra means anger, angry. One is very angry. So Nrsingadev was this. So Prahlad Maharaj is including the demigods with himself. But here he's saying that the demigods are on a different platform. Why? Because the demigods are following the orders of Lord Brahma, who is getting his instructions from the Supreme Lord. But he is considering himself very unfortunate because he is born from a demoniac family, and his father is a demon, and he's considering also him being unfortunate because his father appears to be the controller of the universe, and he controls the demigods, and he even wants to control the supreme personality of Godhead. He negates the form of the Lord. Hence, he treats his sons so cruelly because his son has 10% faith that Krishna, Nishingadev, is the all-powerful Supreme Lord. And he was a demon, so he couldn't understand this. So, the word shame, Mayo, is used here, the purpose of the Lord. Nishingadev is he's portraying three things here: protection of the devotees, creation, and increasing, increasing and showing his own personal happiness. So he satisfies the reader. This doesn't mean all the incarnations, God forms. Every incarnation of every manifestation of the Supreme Lord has a personal form. Matsya comes as a fish, he has a form. Kurma, tortoise, he has a form. Varaha, boar, he has a form. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. Nishingadev as a ferocious form. Vamana, he has a form, dwarf incarnation. Sister Parashuram, Buddha, Rama, all these incarnations of the Lord as a form. And yet you have the Mayavadis say that the Lord is formless. He has no form. So that's very sad, unfortunate. Therefore, Prabhupada says very carefully that we shouldn't come in close association with the Mayavadis because they're very good with their words and their philosophy to change the minds of innocent people. So we have to be very careful where we take our association. Association of devotees is so vitally important. We should never think we can be in a secluded place and practice Krishna consciousness. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's very, very difficult, believe me. You'd be isolated, and the first thing is I, me, and mine. You're always thinking about yourself. So when you're in the association of devotees, you're discussing about Krishna, you're discussing about the deities or other devotees. It's such a pleasing kind. There is one verse, what's that verse? Bodhyanta Parisparam, keep being in the association of devotees, and discussions bring, pleasure to everyone. So I just wanted to, Prabhupada mentions 2 verses in the purport. I was wanting to look at those verses. Bhagavad Gita 4:7 and 4:8. We can read it all together. Beautiful verses. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chatuskritam dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I said together. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Beautiful. When we can't survive in this material world and things get so bad, intolerable, and we suffer so much, it's so kind. It comes in so many different ways. But our problem is that we have opportunity to do having problems or troubles. It doesn't work like that. Because when we become devotees, we more conscious of our pain and suffering. And we have to be able to understand the philosophy, karma, and so many other things to be able to have tolerance, patience, faith, and following the instructions of Krishna Master, our Savior, to be able to we can see here now, you don't have to be in any particular family, high class, rich class, whatever. You can have all the money in the world, wherever you are situated. A sadhu is a man in Krishna consciousness or on a religious platform, whether you're Christian, Muslim, whatever designation you belong to. If you follow the process as given by the scriptures, then ultimately the destination will be reached. A person, and although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, still he was a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I didn't really go to Prahlad Maharaj's past life. Does anyone know who he was in his previous life? To be born in a demoniac family. I didn't research that, but every one of us are coming from our previous lives. Sometimes the demigods as well, they get tested. They put in the body of an elephant like Gajendra. They put in the body of snakes. They put it in the body of, so many different living entities just to teach them. The demigods and us as well get taught a lot of lessons. So we become self-realized. The lessons are there to give us a wake-up call. But it's very difficult when you don't know or don't read or you don't understand Krishna consciousness to follow. Jai Shishi Michael Shashikita. So Prahlad Maharaj, although he was in a demoniac family, still he was a pure devotee. So I was just wondering, I come from a family of 10 in my family. And I have two Christians, two sisters who are Christians, very staunch followers, pray every morning, read the scripture and all that. And I have another two sisters who worship Lord Shiva, very strong, very sincere, very determined. And then others are following like different forms of God, like Kartikeya or Lord Shiva, like that. So somehow, I don't know, my previous life, what some little, punya, but there's also the causeless mercy of the Lord. Somehow I've met devotees and, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. And it says that if one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, setting aside all the material sense gratification, giving up completely, surrendering, and becomes a pure devotee on a transcendental platform, one can benefit 14 generations backward and 14 generations forward. So we would also be benefiting our families who are not Krishna conscious, who have not taken to this path, by surrendering to the process of Krishna consciousness. But if he has the qualification of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. And Duskritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. This is Hiranyakashipu, the demon father of Prahlad Maharaj. But there's so many demons as well in this material world, trying to control, trying to lord it over. But somehow they get their punishment. We all do. We're all struggling for existence. Then the other verse is from the same verse Prabhupada mentions. We can chant it together. Yada yada dharmasya glani bhavati bharata adhutanam dharmasya tadatmanam shijamyam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So this is the mercy again of the Supreme Lord. The word Shijami is significant herein. Shijami cannot be used in the sense of creation, because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existing. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakhi Nadi Adi Devi. So he is eternally existing in the form of I come into the morning focus? Shravanam, hearing Bhavatam, coming in association with the devotees, we hearing Kirtanam, Kirtan, playing, doing puja, Govindam playing countdown, Kirtana, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, worshipping the Vishnu, looking at the Vishnu, Smaranam, while we worshipping, while we hearing, while we singing Kirtan, we are remembering the function of the Lord, Smaranam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Spain, there is, the human beings. One time Prabhupada was saying, with in Krishna consciousness doesn't mean that you don't show affection. There's affection, there's love. The highest form of love you can experience becoming a devotee. So here we have to understand that we, as devotees, we have to be conscious of everything and see Krishna. When we see Krishna's hands in our daily activity, then there's no need for this. I always say this, when you point one finger at someone, and three the demigods as well, they reprimand us if they do something wrong. Sometimes Lord Brahma loses his position. He doesn't do a copy, he loses his position. And this supreme Lord will take his position and take it to the so there's different levels of transcendence, as it's explained. The Supreme Lord is on a platform of supreme transcendence. Then you got the Devi. Thank you very much for clarifying that. I'm not a very eloquent speaker, so pardon me. Thank you. Anyone? I will understand that. So if I will answer your question, but anyone can make comments or add to my answers. So the chanting of the holy names, Lord Chaitanya brought it personally for this Yuga Dharma, for purification of the heart. If Lord Chaitanya left 8 verses, and the first one is Chaito Dharpanam Marjanam, Abhamahadeva Nevi, Nirvapnam, Shri Akairava Chandrika Vittarana Vidyo Vadu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Punam Tasvadanam, Sarvatma Snapanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Okay, the Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the highest, but what is that doing? What is the Sankirtan? What is this chanting doing? Do you understand what the chanting is doing? Yeah, it's engaging us in service, but more than engaging us on service, is purifying the heart of all the impurities, Chaito Darpanam Marjanam. It's cleansing the heart of all impurities that have accumulated from lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. Most people don't understand the potency of the holy name. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, of austerities I am japa. This japa is so vitally important. It's a secret, actually. It is like it might be easy to pick up your beads and chant, but from the chanting of the holy names, only can you maintain your services over a long period of time. You cannot maintain your service without chanting the holy names of the Lord. It's practically impossible because this chanting is so powerful. So, like Advaita Acharya was sitting there praying to Tulsi Devi and imploring the Lord to come down. He was shouting. He shouted so loudly that his voice pierced the three walls. Krishna heard him. Hence he came down as Lord Chaitanya. And this chanting, you're right, the chanting is the highest. But the highest meaning that it helps the heart from all the dirt that's there created. So if we don't cleanse the dirt in our heart, if we don't purify ourselves, how are we going to do service? It's very, very important. We take it for granted chanting, but we have to listen very carefully. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. We're chanting, but we're looking all over. Something distracts us somewhere. We look at the book, we think something. We look at the phone, we think, oh, we may have a message. It could be a very important message. We'll have to see this. You know, maybe I have to answer it now. Or there's so many things. I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself as well. You know, I'm guilty of these things. So, but we have to catch ourselves. We have to know how to catch ourselves. If we don't catch ourselves, then we'll go up. It's very difficult because we're opening the doors for life. And that if we leave it, we can't catch ourselves. That door becomes wider and wider and wider until we're out. And she will make sure she won't allow us to hang around for long. As soon as we deviate from the process of devotional service, then in due course of time, it's not easy out there. We may think this place here is a struggle. It's very hard. We can't do it. We can't listen. We can't follow. You know, people are not nice. They're doing this. They're so many things. But go out there and try to live. Yeah, it's what they say, impossible. But there is, I don't know, more than impossible. I don't know. It's very. But you know, japa, then you can understand that service is only absolute. That's when you realize when you don't just properly hearing, then you think, oh, this is pot washing, that is chopping up, this is sweeping, cleaning. This you categorize the services. The services are little comment we can't correct ourselves, rectify everything overnight. We just carry on with what we asked to do. We do that and we follow the process in due course of time. We do it. Patience, tolerance, patience, the 26 qualities of devotion is needed. Everything, slow. Krishna in the heart, if we sincere, and Krishna in the heart, they feel arrangement. Prabhupada in the beginning